All right, we are live, gentlemen. Welcome to Strong Arm Flix. I'm your boy T Flame, and I got Jeffrey Warfield and the man, the legend Zod Writer here today. Thank you for joining. I think this is the first time we've went live, and I would like to get more of you on here, and more often I will be dropping some content now, and hopefully I can get my background from a janky green to something different.
You know what? From where you're broadcasting, it looks like it's yellow in the background.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's the
like
lighting.
almost looks like a covered ironing board.
Yeah, that was my attempt of I was trying to get because right now I'm like in my garage walkthrough area, and everything's a mess right now, so I haven't got everything completely situated. And I'm like, you know what? I just need something right now. We'll move our stuff to where it needs to be eventually. But yeah, I just got a green blanket there. It's like a lime green, but with the lights shining, it's making it look like more of a yellow, like you were saying. Yep.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so yeah, so there I guess there's a huge training event coming up tomorrow for the Ayer cut. Um I think what was it? Film Gob just said something about it a little bit ago. I've got RT Ayer cut and all that on there. RT Snyder cut on my Twitter page. And Zydrider, what do you think about the release the Ayer cut and the movement for that?
I'm excited. I think that the Ayer cut is something that I think that the Ayer cut is something that we all want to see, and I'm convinced that the Ayer cut is already happening, uh, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I see. And
I just, my thing is we're campaigning for it and stuff, with the release the Air Cup. But I mean, I don't know, man. It just feels like this is something we're already getting. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel like we're not going to have to campaign for it in the way that we did
for the Snyder cut.
for the Snyder cut.
Yes.
I think AT&T is on our side and knows that we want to see this movie, and considers it to be part of the Snyderverse. And it seems like the AT&T is endeared to us as a fan base at this point. So they're going to continue to do what they can do to make us happy. So we'll continue to support them and support their endeavor, which is HBO Max. So in that regard, yeah, I think we're good on the Ayer cut. But it's still fun to put the hashtag out, knowing that it's probably already a done deal, or feeling like it's probably already a done deal. But still, hashtag release the Ayer cut. Those guys are awesome. The admins over there seem to be on the right track. So I'm excited.
Do you like? Oh, he froze.
Yeah, strong arm froze. So
But
what do you think? What do you think, Jeffrey?
yeah, really, I think that we're really pretty much like you said, Zod. I think that it's pretty much a done deal at this point, especially with David Ayer coming out a lot with from the last 2 days with posting some Ayer cut images and saying and actually going into detail a lot with El Diablo, which I think from what he said that the most character who's been untouched was really El Diablo. So really, I want to see like if there was anything misinterpreted there,
Yeah.
because but
Did you see that I'm sure you've seen it. You guys seen it. That post. Sorry, my internet went down for a quick second, so I might have missed some of the conversation. But did you guys see that post by David Ayer about Diablo still being alive and something else, and which we already knew. We already knew all this for a long time. The people that were really following all this stuff closely, including the Snyder Cut early on, when there was a lot of naysaying in regards of its existence, we'll say.
Yes.
You know, we've known
100%.
you know, before everybody kind of, you know, slowly did a 180, you know. I was researching and the hell out of the Ayer cut. I was just so fascinated by the Snyder cut and the Ayer cut early on. And you know, we've known just from the trailers alone, there was so much, you know, like with both movies, you know, when the first official trailers, you know, it tells such a different story that immediately to anybody that had any common sense and knows somewhat how, you know, the film production works, you know, you could see that both movies were a huge step away from what they were initially intended to be. And the fact that a lot of this footage alone contradicts what we see in the theatrical cuts, right away I'm like, okay, so they actually have a different take, not just a different take, a whole different version of this film.
Different.
And
Yeah,
it's
different
and it's
scene.
and
All yeah.
right, and it's filmed and completed to some degree, even. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right off rip, in stage one, that's like right away. That's all I needed to start. Like, okay, jumping down the rabbit hole with both cuts. And I agree with Zodwriter. I, you know, at the same time, I do want people, you know, to actually try and show their support for David Ayer if, you know, if they do support him. You know, I don't want you to do anything you don't want to. But I think that we are already. I think it's a done deal. I think we're already going to get this thing. I think that, you know, and I don't know if it's been debunked or not, but you remember right prior, like 2 or 3 days prior to Zack officially announcing Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. When that big day happened, 2-3 days before that, an article dropped that said that a company is supposedly that not only is HBO Max releasing the Snyder Cut, they're releasing the Ayer Cut, and that the same team that's working on the special effects or something like that for Zack Snyder's Justice League is working on the special effects for David Ayer's cut for Steppenwolf.
Yeah, that was a Cultured Nerd article, and I believe that came out shortly after the announcement.
Was
for
it shortly
the Snyder
after?
Cut. It was shortly after. It was like I want to say, if I'm not, it was within a day or two, or possibly even a week. But yeah, I remember specifically reading the Cultured Nerd article that you're talking about right now, and that kind of it was essentially by all the stuff that was said, it essentially spilled the beans on the fact that yes, we're getting the Ayer cut too, and I think that's something that a lot of people are kind of missing. They didn't see that article, or they dismissed it with a grain of salt. But I really believe that we're already past that. You know, HBO Max is investing too much in the Snyderverse not to release the Ayer cut. If I have to say, because a lot of people are saying, well, it's all going to depend on the success of the Snyder cut, and you know, that's kind of a wink, because honestly, the Snyder cut is already a success for HBO Max, even before like a year before release.
Yeah, because the person for HBO Max already said
agreed
that from a PR perspective, it's already successful. So
there's no way that it won't be a success once it releases, because I've said this many times before. We're at a point where everybody that is fans of Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse are going to be completely loyal to AT&T and HBO Max. So you've got an installed fan base that's never going to leave, that's going to always be subscribed regardless of what happens from here on out, because they're releasing the Snyder cut, and the Ayer cut is part of that universe. And the idea that, you know, that would somehow not come out, to me, is just ludicrous.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and I hope that you are. I'm very optimistic at this point, and you know, and I believe that it's definitely going to happen, you know. And it's just like you just never know with these kinds of things for sure, but I just all signs and all things point towards it. And even that article, you know, a year ago, I would have dismissed it, you know, and just been like, you know, something. I'd have read it and I'd have just, you know, but something about it, after everything that's happened and all the signs pointing towards it, and the way that things are now with HBO Max and AT&T, you know, as you were stating, Zod Ryder, I feel like this was like a done deal, like from the beginning, because you know these characters. See that, and that's the thing about with me. Why it's so important that David Ayer's True Vision, you know, after Zach's, of course, is released as well, because it's like you were saying, it's part of the Snyderverse. There's only one director that like truly helped Zach build the actual DCEU, not like take what he built and then run the fuck in the other direction. Like, well, I want to do this with this character. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm not throwing no insults at James Wan or Patty Jenkins or nothing, because their movies were great, you know. But David Ayer actually honored Zach's vision, was passionate, worked under him, you know what I mean, and helped create this universe. You know, Zach was doing the heroes for the most part, and David was doing the villains. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Zach's was doing Dark Side, you know, but Zach was going to do Dark Side, and David initially was going to do Steppenwolf. His first appearance, besides his quick cameo in BVS Ultimate Edition, if everything had went right off rip according to plan, we would have seen Steppenwolf for the first time in David Ayer's Suicide Squad prior to Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the two of them worked hand in hand, and they both got, and it's just funny to me that because of that, ironically, even for different reasons, they both got screwed. And everybody else got their way, you know.
Right. I mean, it's important to show that unity between filmmakers, and I'm really glad you pointed that out, because that's one of the things that we need to see. We need to see a synergy between filmmakers when it comes to world building and showing a universe's viability. I mean, let's be honest. We can give Patty Jenkins all the credit in the world for the first Wonder Woman movie, but that first Wonder Woman movie was written by Zack Snyder.
Exactly.
So that says a lot about where we are, you know, as a universe, and the tapestry that Zach was creating. And that just goes to show not only his brilliance, but then David Ayer for following up in such a cohesive way. And I'm just hoping that Wonder Woman 84, not to change the subject, is not a complete departure from what we've
that was the next thing on my mind that I was going to talk about. You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, and I feel exactly the same way on that note. I hope not, you know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, you know. And it just to me, you know, and I know that Zack Snyder is what was he, co-producer or either way he's credited on the film.
He's the executive producer. He's one of the producers. I knew that.
Yeah,
and
you know,
a little detour here for a sec. We can choose to make this a big thing or not, but apparently Mighty Pegasus is. I think he's updating his poster for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and here's why. So I saw this tweet. This was like literally seconds before you started, minutes before you started the stream, and to send me the link. But on Twitter, I saw Sean O'Connell's tweet saying, "Oh, we already saw," with him saying, "Oh, we already saw the Zack Snyder's Justice League poster made by Mighty Pegasus." And then I commented saying, "Well, maybe he's updating it." And then a few minutes, about an hour passes, and I see him. I see in my notifications that Mighty Pegasus actually liked my comment saying that unless he is updating it. So maybe, so get ready for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, NDAs don't work on you. So so if
Yes,
that's a
don't worry.
if that's a hint, you'll be the one to to totally sift that out, because again, you are the watchtower. So we have to take your word
That's the
100%.
watchtower right there.
I'm with Jeffrey on this 100%. He's never steered us wrong in any direction. So hey, that's totally.
Yeah, and it just man, he's gonna be, I'm thinking about Mighty Pegasus, since we're talking about him. He's got to be so pumped knowing that these reshoots are coming, and that he's gonna be there for at least one of them.
He is. I'm telling you, he is one of the most down to earth. He's like one of the most salt of the earth people ever.
Yeah,
Like
he's a good dude.
when I talk to him, I get all choked up, because he's the kind of guy that this fandom is built around.
Yeah.
When you see something like that he's an example of hope and optimism coming true, and being this beacon of light that everybody needs in a world full of
he's our
toxicity
Superman.
and craziness.
Superman. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful. It's like a beautiful thing to see. And I'm taken back to the to this one tweet several weeks ago that Chris Wong had put out, where he showed a picture of like the Chinese Superman, and showed a picture of Victor Koo, Mighty Pegasus, and said, "Oh, look, I put the same picture up twice." I don't know if you guys seen that, but it was so perfect, and it fit the situation, so apt. I was like, God, this is awesome. Like, yeah, I mean,
I didn't see that, but that's awesome.
You're right on point about it. He does look like the Superman, that they have, the DC Comics, the Chinese Superman does look a lot like Victor. So that's pretty amazing.
I know, man. And it's just, and another thing is too, man, is just like when I first early when he first joined the movement and everything, I always was like drawn to him, because I'm like, there was some days where we had darker days, and there was good days, there's bad days, but when he joined, I was like, this is what we need. We need people that when we get down, or when things ain't going right, that he is the optimism and the light at the end of the tunnel. And on top of that, I like for other people that just, that watch and follow along, that they see that this movement is not full of what they call toxics or assholes, or whatever you want to call it. There is genuinely good people, and that is the foundation. And I always thought, man, this is what we needed. We needed a good dude just like this, everybody showed him so much love, and he showed so much love back, and it was a great day when he joined. I remember seeing his video. His first video that he posted, how nervous he was, how happy he was, and it was just so real, And I really really happy that we've had him on board, and that he's been a part of this, and that we've been able to be a part of this with him,
Yep, and that's exactly why we like Zach too, because he's also like a very down to earth dude. Because let's go back in time when Zach actually arrived to San Diego Comic-Con in the freaking mobile. Like, let's be honest, if we had the power to do that, we would be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna drive the Batmobile to San Diego Comic-Con. We would definitely do that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I would have a blast, dude. And real quick, let's go through a couple of these comments. Nerdy in many ways. I know that's from a little bit earlier ago. That's my boy. How you doing, Nerdy? What's up?
Hashtag what's up? 4 nerds. What's up, Nerdy?
And then we have South Cali guy. Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Yeah.
And then he said, good to see you, Zod.
Hey, good to see you, South Cali guy. Yes.
Yep.
Always such a wonderful supporter, South Cali guy. He's in all,
he is.
he comes to all the streams. He's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic guy. And the movie Radar said he said after the Ayer cut, what other projects do you guys speculate Jared Leto will be in? I am, for one, a huge fan of Jared Leto's Joker, and I want to see his real performance, his actual performance.
After we see that,
we're going to see that with the Ayer cut. I want to see, and you know what, and I find it really hard to believe because I talked about this once before in an older stream. There was early on, there was actually a person that a lady that went and seen an early screening of Suicide Squad back in like 2014, right? And she left a review, and this is prior to the movie. Now, like I said, this is a screening, test screening. This isn't, for the theatrical cut or after it came out. This is way before. And what she said was that she had a couple of comments, but the interesting one to me was that she said that we finally get the Batman, not the Batman you want, but the Batman you deserve. And he has as much screen time as Spider-Man in Civil War.
That's a lot of footage.
Then I went back and I watched the theatrical cut again. And Batman has got less screen time than Jared Leto's Joker does, which in the theatrical, not the extended cut, where they replenished like 2 scenes with the Joker and Harley Quinn, the theatrical cut. And I'm like, okay, so Batman has less than, I don't know, 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes of screen time, I'm
going to have to go back and rewatch it because I haven't seen Suicide Squad since I seen it in theaters.
Right. And so my thing is that so clearly Batman has a much larger role, and now to what capacity, I don't know. But clearly he has a decently larger role in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So that brings the question to me: how many? You're going to tell me that they had Batman and Joker, and that they didn't film one scene where they had an actual conversation, even if it was like real quick and he's shooting a gun, running away from Batman or something. I'm interested in seeing what context and what kind of relationship do the two of them have. You know what I'm saying?
I'd be surprised if that dynamic wasn't explored in some capacity.
Yes,
because they have to set up other things. Because remember, at that time, the Batman Deathstroke thing was still in the pipeline. So
it's actually theorized that Joker and Batman do team up in the nightmare future. So really, it would make a lot of sense for there to be at least maybe one scene of them interacting and having a conversation.
Yes, and to me, that's what either way, I already think that he's a great Joker. Just needed what they gave him for theatrical cut just wasn't right. There were certain scenes that you're like, okay, see, he can play that Joker, that DCEU, that serious, scary version, down to earth take of Joker, and he's not, is not to be clowned around with. He's not a joke, like people are saying, all the criticisms about him and everything. And then there's some scenes where you can clearly tell that it's just reshoots on reshoots, to where it's like you can tell they didn't give him a lot of material for the theatrical cut to work with, and that it was a huge departure from what he did, because there was even scenes that were cut with him in his apartment, scenes with him wearing in his underwear, looking out the window, holding a batarang, and talking about something that happened between him and Batman back in the day regarding Robin. There's a lot of scenes that are confirmed that are missing from this movie. And, there was a scene that, I don't know if you guys seen, David Ayer dropped an image of it. Looked like Batman, like on top of Harley Quinn on the ground, kissing her, and she's like got blood on her face and bruises. And it's an actual still from the Ayer cut that David Ayer dropped. And, this movie was definitely rated R, and just so much more context to these kinds of things. And And to me, without them things, the movie doesn't work. You have no connection when you're jumping around listening to hip hop music.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
the theatrical cut was just all fluff. They were just trying to copy the style of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's all it was.
That's exactly what they were doing. And as proof of that, now we have the Suicide Squad, and they literally brought in the guy that made Guardians of the Galaxy to do the Suicide Squad. And if that's not, and people were saying this, our people were saying this early on, about them trying to copy it, and everybody was like, oh, DC fans are just mad because they can't do Marvel right, way early on. And then come to find out, we was right. And then after that, articles started coming out. Then after that, confirmed, James Gunn is directing the next Suicide Squad. I'm like, ain't that a bitch?
and this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand, where you don't even need to watch. You don't even need to watch. All you need to do is really watch Justice League Dark, and you could Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and you can tell that the Suicide Squad is not the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, I agree.
Because they can be a little bit crazy, and really they take things very seriously when it comes down to it, and don't joke around. And really, it's just and really where you have James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, really, there's only two people reprising their roles. That's Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and the Captain Boomerang.
Yep.
That's it.
And I can tell already, just based on James Gunn's the material that he released almost a year ago, showing the costumes off, showing the thing saying don't get too attached. Basically, a lot of people are going to die, in this movie. I can tell, and one or two other things, but I can tell already that even James Gunn, being James Gunn, okay, if he would have been told, hey, make a Suicide Squad movie from the get-go, and it wasn't David Ayer, even James Gunn wouldn't have tried to copy the Guardians of the Galaxy. He knows it won't work. He's like, okay, well, this is going to be, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. It's my movie, but, motherfuckers are going to die. It's going to be dark. This is going to happen, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea. I probably won't like it. But I'm saying even his version of the movie will probably be superior than the theatrical cut of the initial Suicide Squad, just because of that factor. And that's what blows my mind, that even the director himself of Guardians of the Galaxy, he would have knew better not to try to copy that material for a DC project.
Well, it all depends on how much creative control they're going to give him, because you have to remember that this movie was greenlit under the old regime that was responsible for derailing the Snyderverse. So to me, it's I kind of feel like you're right in the sense that, James Gunn will be able to probably make the movie he wanted to make, because those were all Marvel fanatics that were responsible for ruining Zack Snyder's vision. So at this point, so I'm kind of thinking that, he'll get to do what he wants to do, but I'm not sure that his version of Suicide Squad is going to fit in with the rest of what's going on. I'm kind of up for debate as to whether or not I even am going to be interested in even watching the movie, to be honest with you.
To be honest with you, I don't want to even see it at all. If they give me the Ayer cut, there's no way in hell I will even check it out. I mean, if I knew right now that, and I know that it's not the case, but if I knew right now, we were never going to get nothing else in regards to, the Suicide Squad in any kind of manner, of what I love about it and the Snyderverse and all that. And that's all we got. I would check it out just for the hell of it, to see one less not even a hoorah, just to kind of say goodbye to that. You know what I mean? But there's no way if they're gonna do, to me, it's almost pointless for them to even drop, other than the fact they've already invested millions, into the project. I think it's pointless to even drop the Suicide Squad if the Ayer cut is indeed being released in some format. Like, that to me,
because why not let David Ayer continue on and do what he wants to do, which was what he'll probably get to do with Gotham City Sirens, maybe somewhere
Yes.
down the line.
Because this is actually something that James Gunn actually said about why he made the title The Suicide Squad. So apparently the reason why that's the title is according to him, it's not a sequel to David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So that really adds
it's a soft reboot.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
he said that it is its own thing. So really, like, this whole multiverse thing going on, like, if they go that route with it, then I'll be fine with that. But if it is, as you say, a soft reboot, then yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Yeah, and and another thing is regarding Harley Quinn's character. Okay, her initial version in the Ayer cut was good. Even her version in the theatrical cut wasn't great, but it was one of the standout performances because it was less cut down, less messed with compared to everyone else's shit. It was still tampered with a lot, but not compared to everyone else, So my thing is, okay, you had all this positive reaction to specifically her. Birds of Prey comes along. I'm not even going to go into that, okay? But they messed up that character in that movie, all right? The sequel, I believe they confirmed that the sequel's now been canceled to Birds of Prey. Okay, but now,
well, when you think about that, just to piggyback off of that real quick, Birds of Prey was a movie that nobody was asking for in the first place.
Nobody asked for Birds of Prey, and I'm just trying to be modest right now, not because I know there is some people that are like, really into that character that are kind of crazy and they get offended real easy. Not none of my people.
I love the character too.
I love the character, but the movie and the director and the creatives behind that movie was it was not what it was supposed to. And what scares me is that I do want this character to have justice done for her eventually. But now think about this though, okay? So we know for a fact this character is going to be appearing in the Suicide Squad, right? Now we've already seen released images, stills, or whatever you want to call it, of Harley Quinn, and we can already tell by the way that she is dressed, the location that she's at, that there is a very good chance that this isn't even going to have anything to do with Birds of Prey.
So
okay, and we already know that this movie ain't got nothing to do with David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So now this is going to be a third alternate take on the same version of Harley Quinn. Now, if the Suicide Squad comes out and that movie is not a hit, which I'm passing up to see, to be honest, but say that movie's not a hit, to me, that's undoable damage for Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn, because now that is three different interpretations of this character. You know what I mean? Three. And if this third one doesn't pan out the way that it's supposed to, it's just not good, It's not good for her, specifically Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn character. And in my mind, I don't think that would be the end of her. But I'm just saying that it's just a mess.
What's great is that what's great, and the point that you guys have made, it's a multiverse. Yeah. So that allows for it. And so that's where I love the direction DC is going, because it provides for everyone and gives something for everyone. I mean, the Suicide Squad may not be our cup of tea.
Right.
We didn't like Birds of Prey, but we still saw it. I still supported it. We still supported it.
Went to theaters to see it and everything,
But I mean, if you have Birds of Prey and you have the Suicide Squad and you want, as long as the multiverse allows for it, they can have Margot Robbie rebooting Harley Quinn every movie. It doesn't matter.
Because that's a good point. That's a good point.
And since we're speaking on Harley Quinn for a bit, Did you? So we all know that scene where Joker does the shock therapy to Harley Quinn, right? And Joker mentioned that Harley Quinn basically messed up with her mind and all that. And we actually got a little bit of more context into that from David Ayer, where he actually said what he meant by that was before the breakup, Harley Quinn was actually doing shock therapy to him,
Yeah,
and really how Harley Quinn became crazy wasn't that Joker really changed him. Was basically Joker essentially, to paraphrase, kind of let out the darker side of Harley Quinn's past. So meaning I think that we actually got a lot of stuff deleted from Harley Quinn's back childhood trauma. So that might be very interesting to look at.
yeah, and I always wondered was if we would have got the full version of David Ayer's cut off rip, um, where were they going with that line in the extended cut where he mentions what you said, Jeffrey, about he said she said I helped you, when he was strapping her down on the table about the electrocutor. Why would you do this? I helped you. And he was like, you helped me? He's like, no. He's like, you helped me by erasing my mind of what few faded memories I had left. And he hits the table real hard. And he's real
Yeah,
pissed off. And he was like, no, you put me in a black hole of rage and delusion. And that makes me think, okay, why would they put a line in there stating that the Joker has memory loss and don't remember who he used to be?
yeah,
What's the purpose of doing that unless you're hinting at some kind of secret origin story of Jared Leto's Joker's true identity and that her somehow knowing it and erasing it and that she was like going crazy trying to fix him, what she thought was fixing him, and one day he just like played mind games with her until she was dumb enough to give him a machine gun and a phone. you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, it's just something else that was
it's
probably
something to think about.
touched on, or something that we were supposed to get in the Ayer cut that we never got,
Yeah,
and was probably just some more great material that was cut out of the movie. So,
yeah.
and if you go back to Jared Leto, like in a press tour, like he was asked, like someone asked him basically, who would you? I don't know exactly what the reporter asked him, but he asked him basically, who would you want to partner up with as the Joker? And he was just going on about Batman and how cool, and basically how
I
cool of a
seen that.
team, and basically how cool of a team that would be. And really, I think that's where the theory
Interesting part
of
comes in.
and I think that's the theory of where the Joker and the Batman do team up to really go against the dark side comes from in the Nightmare universe. So really, like once again, like yeah, I would actually like to see how a Joker Batman team up would be.
Yeah, and the nightmare sequence when he's got that machine gun and that cloak on, and it says Joker on it. It's got a jester on the front of the machine gun that Batman's holding in BVS Ultimate Edition during the nightmare sequence of Batman out in that desert. So yeah, there's a lot of injustice type themed stuff, and just a lot of Easter eggs and hints at stuff of possibilities
Yeah,
that we won't know for sure until we see it.
yeah,
But yeah, that's something to think about, definitely. And let's see. Let me read a couple more of these comments. Okay. Pilot Maverick. He said, "Good morning, guys. Long time no see. My Twitter has been hacked. Oh no, buddy, that's not good.
Oh, wow.
I do only have YouTube accounts. My Twitter has been hacked. I only have YouTube accounts now. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, man, that's
that
a
sucks.
shame. Man, have you tried to recover it? Have you tried reaching out to the Twitter team in any manner?
Yeah, because they could send you a password reset and that kind of thing to get you back in.
The movie radar. He said, "What do you guys think Clark's reaction is to Eminem's Superman song, assuming it came out in the 2013 to 15 Snyderverse?" In the Snyderverse. Why? Well, I'm trying. Can't be your Superman. You're Superman. I don't think that the critics would have. The critics were kind of mixed on reviews for it at the time, and I remember a couple of people like, "That's not my Superman," and then the song saying "Can't be your super." I don't think it would have been a good mix. I think it would have made them people more pissed off. But yeah, that's a funny comment. Okay, and Jonathan Ayla. Yo, welcome back. Hey, what's up? Long time no see, man. And then let's see. I cannot say his name. Manraj Verdi. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering the name. He said, "Come on, guys, support the DCEU, no matter what universe it is in and who directs the movies." And I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Just like Zod Writer was saying, the movie doesn't have to be specifically my cup of tea, but I will never do this cancel culture shit, or bash anybody for seeing it. I might not.
Right, you love what you love.
Right, you love what you love. You're allowed to like different shit. That's life. That's what's great about diversity in the entertainment that we watch. And to them people that like it, I'm happy for them. The only thing is just that we're just anxious to get what we love that we fought so hard for. So that tends to be more of my prime focus. But that does not mean that I don't want you guys to see what you love, or that I do not support you. If it's a DCEU movie, or even if it's just DC in general, like even Birds of Prey, I knew that it wasn't for me when it first came out. I still took my ass to the theater. I took my old lady, my kids. We went to the theater. We seen it. We paid for it. We supported it. I didn't get on the internet and start tripping out about the movie or nothing like that. I just, I wasn't thrilled about it. To me, it was a mediocre movie, but that's fine because I don't have to. It doesn't have to be my, the greatest thing I've ever seen. Long as somebody else loves it and enjoys it, that's what it's here for. You know what I mean? That's what all this stuff and the fact, like Zod Raider brought up about them being multiverses and what DC's doing. They're establishing the connection between the old DC movies with like Michael Keaton to the DCEU to the CW network with the TV shows of DC, and all that stuff is connected now. So it's great because they can give a little bit to everybody, And
yep.
And I agree. And I never, no matter whether I like a project or not, I never want a director to catch so much heat. Directors deserve to be treated better, and these creatives. And the truth is that we fought for this movement, yes, for Zach, but the larger message is out there is that in the future, hopefully we can eventually one day pass the torch on to the next generation to say, like, have these creatives backs, help spread a change in Hollywood, let these people do the job that they're hired to do, and if they go through something traumatic, then be decent. Like Ray Fish was saying, accountability or entertainment. Accountability, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to protect these creatives. You can't let them be treated the way that they've been being treated, and their projects getting butchered to hell. That's just a whole different thing, different situation. That's just equally as bad.
It's not, and because then it gets taken over, and it's just a corporate entity. It's not even the creatives movie anymore. And that,
exactly.
And
then they can't talk about it because they're under NDA, so they can't talk about, that, hey, this guy behind the scene was treating me like, like crap. They were crapping all over my movie. They were being, a jerk to me. They forced me out of the project. They did this and that, and then you got this new guy they bring in, this director. Now he's talking trash about this guy, and just like the way, just the way that they're handling stuff was doing things was not good, was super unprofessional, and just downright evil in my mind. Some of the stuff that happened, and the whole purpose is to change the way things are done, to make sure that these people that create these movies and spend years and years creating from scratch these projects that we hold dear, that that they're treated right, and that their work is respected and upheld, their vision.
Absolutely.
And that's where that is what started, for the most part, the movement, and it's just like, even with like like Kathy Yan, if it were to come out and it was, and it was like, and I'm sure she didn't have to deal with the old regime as much, but if it were to come out and say that, she was being bashed on because of this reason, and this happened behind the scenes, and whatever, I would support the people. I would support her having justice, flat out. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
And,
right.
and
If there's a Yan cut, release the Yan cut.
Yeah.
It's
let the people that love
simple.
that, and the people that love her movie will love the Yan cut even more. Let them all be. You know what I mean? And that's what's great about it. And it really rolls right off of what Zod Raider was just saying earlier. And that's a good comment, good conversation, man. Good talk.
Yep. And it really is kind of like, and really it kind of goes hand in hand with the Schumacher cut, that campaign that just started recently, where it is now confirmed that there is a 170-minute cut of the Batman Forever. And
Right.
and really, people are probably saying that they're toxic and all that, yada yada. But at the same time, they cause this happened where it was announced that there would be that there was a Ayer cut campaign going on tomorrow, which is for the time frame.
And I will be working my ass off tomorrow, but I'm going to participate in whatever degree that I can. I've been excited and looking forward to the Snyder Cut and the Ayer Cut for quite a long time. So like we were saying earlier, I already think that it's a done deal, but just in case, I'm still going to be there, and I'm still going to do my part in whatever way that I can, and I hope other folks do too.
Yep, and to continue off what I said, when it was announced that the Ayer Cut campaign was going to be tomorrow from 8 a.m. to midnight at your local time, it was that the hashtag released, the Schumacher cut people actually delayed their campaign to the 27th, because they actually did want to help out with the Ayer cut as well.
Oh wow, that was pretty. I didn't know that. It's mighty nice of them.
Yep, and it was also because they actually do support the Ayer cut as well.
Yes, it's a multiverse. It's not only a multiverse of films and creatives, it's a multiverse of fan groups as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
All having each other's back. This is how it's supposed to be.
This is how it is.
Notice how it's already started, Jeffrey. How we're already at a point where the gap is being bridged between fandoms. Look at it. What you just pointed out.
Yes.
How you have the Schumacher cut, is behind. Release the Ayer cut, and where did it all spring from? It all sprang from hashtag release the Snyder cut. So it's already changed everything. It's already shooken up things and made the fandom stronger as a whole. I swear to God, by the time this whole thing is over, DC, the fan base for the DCEU is going to be insanely solidified.
Yes. And we're going to have a universe that has got something for everyone and that we can truly be proud of, that even critics won't be able to talk about.
Yeah, because again, the point, strong arm, the point you just made, it's beautiful because it just goes to show again that there's something for everybody.
Everyone.
We're getting reinforcement from all sides of the spectrum. And honestly, I think AT&T and HBO Max are doing a beautiful job with the way they're coordinating and communicating with the fan base and embracing us with so much love and openness. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen out of a corporate company.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. And and it's just like the one thing that Warner Brothers has always been lacking for I don't know how many years, for probably 3 decades, it's been communication, and unity within their fans of their beautiful products that they make. And lately in this day and age, the old regime was just, they just weren't cutting it. They were so outdated the way that they were doing things. Like they were literally strong arming the audience, like and it's like you can't do that kind of no more because we've got internet. There's so many ways to communicate, and other businesses and companies, they've been doing it for decades.
Exactly.
They were behind the curve. They were way behind the curve, and their way of doing things was just don't communicate, don't deal with it, and if there's a backlash big enough, just shut that down and act like you don't know about it. Don't comment. We're going to skip out on going to Comic-Con. We're going to pull out from this panel. We're not going to answer phone calls. We're going to tell the secretary to answer the phone and do this. Like, that's some old bullshit, and in the long run, that was never going to work for them. That was only going to, and thank God that they did things as ignorant as they did, because now AT&T and HBO Max, they can see, okay, this is what the fans want. This is what our audience that buys these large products, these are the statistics. This, and that. Okay, they like that. Well, we're going to give them more. It's that simple. It don't got to be deep-seated. It don't got to be any more than that. But all I'm saying is that thank God that for AT&T and HBO Max, thank you.
Exactly. It's like the adults have finally entered the room.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly right, because and I just hold on, turn my camera around the wrong way. There we go. I just I was just, I never thought that we would finally, that they would finally come a day where they would actually be listening to us. There was days for like years where I was hashtagging and trying to campaign with everybody, and I'm like, man, this is working. The world's noticing, but they don't care. These assholes that are sitting in these chairs right now, up high at Warner Brothers, specifically 3 of them, they do not care. And while they're in power, it's never going to happen. But I'm never going to give up, and I'm never going to stop trying. And it's just nice that we finally got here. Everybody got here, and that AT&T and HBO Max. I just can't thank them enough for what they're doing, what they've done, and what they are doing for us and for this movement and for the fans of all kinds.
Yes.
And really this goes back to what I said when the Snyder Cut was announced. Really, where I made like a really short video on YouTube on my reaction to the Ayer Cut, to the Snyder Cut's announcement. I said word for word that this is only the beginning. It's only going to get better from here. And it really, with everything that has happened in these last few months, like, I can only say that really I was right, and really everything really has gone up for DC fans.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I want to answer this, talk about this comment right here. The movie Radar. Do you guys think that Jared Leto says the itch in my crotch and hunka hunka in the Ayer cut? I personally don't mind these lines. You know, that is something that I've always believed is complete reshoots. I do not think in any way that he said that in the Ayer cut. To me, it was apparent right away that this shit was reshot. It was reshot because there's a. Remember, Jeff, where we talked about this not that long ago. There was an image where it shows Jared Leto's Joker like this on his knees to Monster T, and
Yep.
Monster T has his gun in his hand,
Yep.
has the Joker's purple and gold handgun. So right then and there, we know, okay, this scene was completely reshot. Then David Ayer addresses a fan that said, why he got Joker's gun with an emoji like this. And David Ayer, he commented it, retweeted, and he said, nice find. He said, how did he word it? You remember how David Ayer worded it, Jeffrey? He basically said that that scene was reshot and that Joker was talking him into killing himself.
Yep.
And that it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and that's something we totally didn't see in the theatrical cut
exactly.
or the extended cut of
so right there, so right there, knowing that these lines that he just right here that the movie Radar asked about, itch my crotch and hunka hunka, right there, that is a part of that same scene. And the fact that it sounds so ignorant, I'm going to say that is part of the reshoots, flat out, because we already know that scene was reshot. We don't know to what degree, to what extent.
Well, much along the lines of Ray Fisher being forced to say "booyah" in the Whedon cut of Justice League.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: like people say that it's a race thing and yada yada. But think about this. Do you really think Zach would put Cyborg in there, even though he's already the heart of the movie, right? And we know this. So really, like, why would Zach put that line in there other than for a comic book reference? And think about it like this: would you want to see Cyborg as really just a catchphrase? Because that's really essentially what he was in the Teen Titans animated show. He was a literal catchphrase, really.
Right. It's more of a catchphrase from that show than it is a comic book, a main comic book trope, because the character in the comic books is a lot more serious than the way he was portrayed in Justice League.
Yep.
Yeah. And we already know that there was a lot of stuff cut out for Ray Fisher at Cyborg. We definitely know that. And especially at the end scene where Cyborg gets his logo, like that scene right there was very shiny and Cyborg actually looked like very plasticky in a way that definitely did look like a reshoot.
Yeah. And let's see. That one Carlos, he said, I didn't really like the delivery, but I wouldn't mind. You ain't got to worry about that because I know that there's so many reshoots. It's mainly like punchlines and jokes that were added, trying to lighten it up back then because they were trying to be like, do Marvel 2.0. Them lines were not in there, but and El Capi di Sion. I can't even say that. He said, "Hey, what did I miss?"
Go back.
Yeah, go back. It's too much, man. Okay, that one Carlos or Soulja Boy song. He's talking about
Oh yeah, the Superman thing,
yeah,
like in the Jimmy Kimmel Batman v Superman
yeah,
little skit that they did.
yep,
Yeah, the deleted scene from Batman v Superman.
yep. And Pilot Maverick said about it in regards to his hacked Twitter account. Some Chinese chick is running my account. I'm still waiting for Twitter to fix it. LOL.
Wow.
No, that's not good, bud.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I am here for only Zack Snyder's DC universe, and that's fine.
There you go.
That's cool.
That's
That
beautiful.
is fine.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That one, Carlos. I love DC, plain and simple. Hope their movies overthrow the MCU soon. The time is so right. MCU lost its spark and so much hype since late 2019. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that.
they blew their wad with Endgame.
Oh
And
yeah.
now they have to basically rebuild. It's like a sports team, like a football team analogy. They go to the Super Bowl, they win, and then the following year, the team gets dismantled,
Yep.
and contracts expire, and they basically end up being a rebuilding team for the next 10 years. And that's essentially, what
Yeah.
you're looking at with the MCU.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for in terms of the DCEU then? Like, did they guess they died and rose from the dead?
And,
Right. The DCEU did their little rebuilding experiment with Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84. They did their rebuilding experiment, and now they're going back. Pause, not stop. Now it's like the equivalent of now, like the football team analogy. Now you're bringing your star quarterback back to the team. Zack Snyder is the star quarterback. They re-signed Zack Snyder after coming off of a crazy good season, and he sat out for a little while. Now he's back and he's ready to blow it up. So it's yep.
Yeah. The only thing is I gotta say is they're trying. We still gotta watch and be careful because Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse of madness.
Yep.
Gotta be careful because I think they're trying to take a note or two from DC now.
Yep.
Well, all they do is copy DC.
Yeah.
As we know, that's all they do. So it's
exactly, and that's exactly right. But guess what? Because they're much more, mainstreamly praised. We get our hype, and our all our shit gets shitted on. It gets overran with the critics and everything for Disney Marvel, to the point where people don't see it that way. They see it as, the people that are ignorant to the fact that DC is just trying to be like Marvel. And it's like, bro, the script, you read the scripts early on for Civil War is basically the script, a bastardized version of the script from early on BVS.
Yep,
and Endgame was our Zack Snyder's Justice League in a way.
And here's the thing, really, like Mercury, this dude on Mercury on Twitter actually pulled up the original 2016 slate, before the movie was called like
Captain America's Serpent, the Serpent Society.
Yeah, and really in IGN, the Russos, the directors, and I quote, the directors of Captain America: Civil War, they said that they came to Kevin Feige and told them, hey, we should make a movie that challenges the audience. Kevin Feige said no. Then they went on and said PBS was announced, Kevin Feige came to them and said, okay, yeah, we should make a movie that challenges the audience. Let's go with that.
Yeah, and since you
And
brought that up and brought up Mercury, I just, not to cut you off, Jeffrey, but I really want to read Mercury's tweet because I think it's appropriate. It says, maybe if we got Serpent Society instead, it would have been an interesting end to Cap's trilogy instead of an Avengers movie with stolen BVS plot points.
yeah,
Oh,
yes,
hey-oh,
yes.
hey-oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Pilot Maverick, strong arm. I still need my car serviced, lol. You might have to take a holiday to Australia and also change the oil on my IX35, lol.
Mhm.
Man, I am not going all the way to Australia, man. Can you even fly over there right now with this global pandemic going on? I don't know. I mean, if you might be able to, but
I think so.
nah. I fixed the engine or something, bro, but I ain't changing no dang oil. I told him I would, though. I don't know why I did. All right, let's see. That Juan Carlos Warner Bros. This is from earlier. Was I think he meant to say was a bunch of jokers. Band of idiots. How could they botch so much in such a little time? AT&T and HBO Max are salvaging this, and thank God for that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Brandon Pittman. What's up, strong arm? What's going on, fellas?
Yeah.
That's some familiar faces and names I have not seen in quite some time.
Yes.
Nice. Very nice. He said, I mean, what's going on, fellas? My bad. LOL.
Yeah.
All right. Strong arm. Are you joining Crisis on Infinite Streams? I don't know. It's very challenging. I would like to, but
Yeah,
it's
I would
very
like to.
challenging with my work schedule, and I got a son, an old lady, and it's just like I don't have much time to myself these days, man.
Yeah.
So it's like it's got to be like at a very specific time frame, like almost every day, and if it's not within this very short, selective amount of time frame, then usually I end up missing out on it. Some of the guys, they go out their way to make their schedules work for mine just out of pure love, and I appreciate that. That's amazing. But I in no way expect everybody to bend everything they're doing to compensate for my schedule. But I'll just have to see when that's going on. Right now, I don't know for sure. I really couldn't tell you, man. But thanks for that question. All right. That one, Carlos. You are so right, Zod Writer. Where are these MCU fandoms? Where is their Justice Con and their Crisis on Infinite Streams? Not hating on them, just wondering. I see no hype and no passion.
They got what they wanted. That's the reason why. They don't have to campaign for anything. They don't have to fight for nothing because they got everything. So
I can actually answer that though for their MCU fandom. Here's bet money right after DC fandom is done, Kevin Feige is going to announce a version of their own MCU
Fatal J,
fandom
what up?
or Marvel fandom. But because really at this point, I know Kevin Feige just by reputation, and he's gonna counteract this. He always wants to be on top. So yeah, trust me, he's gonna make his own MCU Marvel fandom, but it's not gonna be called that.
Right. Let me see. Just real quick. Fatal J is in the building.
Hey,
What's up,
yes.
Fatal?
What's up, Fatal J?
And
Yes.
he said, I always felt that Suicide Squad had so much more potential than what I seen in theaters.
Yes.
Yes. I did too. From the moment that I seen it, I thought to myself, why is the Joker not in this movie? Why are they cracking jokes? And what the is he talking about his crotch and hunka for? And a couple of other things, that just didn't add up. I watched the extended cut, and it only complicates the theatrical cut more.
Yeah.
They should have right off rip released the director's cut, which still wouldn't have been David Ayer's true cut vision. They should have released an ultimate edition or a director's cut of Suicide Squad, because when they released the extended cut, it further rips open so many plot holes. It just makes everything that's built around the few clips of David Ayer's true footage in this movie look like a pile of shit.
Yeah.
There's a scene between Deadshot and Harley Quinn where literally, like, they're walking down Midtown or whatever, right?
Yep.
And out of nowhere, she just starts talking shit to everybody Harley Quinn does in the extended cut.
Yep.
Just starts talking shit to everybody in the Suicide Squad that's on her team. Like, talking about they have daddy issues, this motherfucker does this, and then she was messing with Killer Croc. I'm like, why do you eat people? Because you hate mankind or some shit? And I'm like, what is she doing? Like, literally the scene before this.
You could tell that a lot of these lines, too, are just total reshot, or over.
A reshoot on top of a
ADR dub, like, terrible. Like,
yeah. A reshoot on top of a reshoot with ADR work over top of that. And I'm like, but there's some scenes that that have some semblance of what the initial cut was or was going to be. And she said something about, he said, Harley, I need you to stop acting like a drunken stripper for a few minutes and quit messing with everyone, because if things don't go our way, we're going to have to shoot our way out of this bitch. Like, I think that's literally what he said. And she said something about, oh, I understand. I smell a rat. That's okay. Everybody for themselves, right? But when it comes to the heart, and she got up in his face and then snatched her bat and then looked at him all crazy, rolled her eyes, and walked away. And I'm like, what the f is she talking about? Where did that come from? Who's a rat? What kind of emotional shit just happened to where she's talking about the heart? Like, what's going on?
Because I do
and
know
then David
that
Ayer revealed that there was in his cut, they actually get together.
Yep.
Deadshot, Will Smith's Deadshot, and Margot's Harley Quinn.
Yep. And
so that would make sense. That line now has a little more context to me in the extended cut. But I still think that even that was ADR over to a degree.
Probably.
Yep. And David Ayer actually, and that also explains why Deadshot didn't shoot Harley Quinn, because before that, David Ayer actually revealed that at that stair scene, that was then solidifying their relationship. And then when it comes, and then that really explains why Deadshot didn't shoot Harley Quinn, because they were just right then and there, they were in a relationship.
Right. And then that would explain when they got to the rooftop why when the Joker came and broke her and rescued her, why he pushed her out of it. Because maybe she went to kiss him and was like, couldn't do it or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it made him angry, and he threw her out the helicopter. That's why when they show her, hey boys, she's on top of the car, and she takes the necklace off that says pudding and throws it. Because if he tried to save her life in the helicopter in the theatrical cut, you mean that we're supposed to believe he just tried to save her life from the squad and Amanda Waller. Then the helicopter goes down, he tries to save her life again, and her reaction to that is breaking the necklace off that's got his name on it and throwing it like she's angry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then she said, you know what I mean? That to me, that just always blew my mind. That just always blew my mind in the theatrical cut. I'm like, okay, how does that make sense? And then, the extended cut, like I said, it only confuses your normal average audience member that don't know or read into this kind of things. It would only confuse them much further. watching that version.
Because David Ayer,
You really got to think outside the box when you watch that extended cut and piece together and think out way outside the box about certain things and connect dots to things that aren't there that maybe should be there.
They probably never should have. They probably never should have released that extended cut.
No, they should not have. They should not have. And I tell you what, Zodwriter, the reason why they did was because off rip, when the movie first came out, there was like 4 scenes of the Joker just in the third trailer alone that wasn't in the movie. Not just like 1, 2. There was like 3 like decent chunk like scenes that weren't in the movie. And the main complaint right off rip is, bro, how is there a movie that advertised the Joker being centered at the Joker and Batman being mainly Joker being centered at the front and center of this movie on the posters before they added all the bright effects and started putting the Joker was in the front and center on the posters. And the trailers, they focused on the Joker in the trailers. Batman and the Joker had a large role in this movie. They chopped it all the way down. So when it comes out, and now all of a sudden the Joker literally is just like a cameo, reduced from almost the secondary main villain of the movie to now a brief cameo for the purpose of only supporting role to Harley Quinn. That's barely a beefed up cameo, like type deal. You know, everybody came out and was like, you know, what's moviegoers were like confused about that aspect of the movie. Like, where's Joker at? Like, what is he doing right now with all this shit's going on? You know, especially in the third act. So they released that extended cut and replenished the motorcycle chase scene with the Joker and a little bit more of a longer extended scene during the electric shock therapy. And just them 2 scenes alone, you could see that they had a much more fleshed out, like dreary, like serious. It wasn't no romance. It was like some horror story type shit. And they turned it into what we got. And they released that just to shut people up. That's all there was to it. You know, that's what they did. And that's why they released it so quick. You know,
and really like to go off of that, like for people who complain about like why would Deadshot and Harley Quinn be together? David Ayer actually replied straight up. He said in a tweet, and I quote, "It's in the comics." Like, so really, if you don't agree with something, you need to go through the comics.
Yeah. There's a lot of great stuff in the comics, man, in the source material. Always has been. I like how the creatives that we've got in the DCU, for the most part, you know, they take the source material, they honor it, but they still do their own thing with it to a degree and do it the way that they want to do it with their unique flavor and spin on it. That's how it's supposed to be, man. You know, that's how it's supposed to be done. It should never be like even Marvel. There's like, you remember with like the Black Widow movie, how many directors dropped out for how many years while the Black Widow movie was trying to be made? And what's her name? The female director, the last one that dropped out before they got the movie together and on board and everything. She came out and said that they told her that they wanted her to direct like the dark stuff about her past, but they wanted to handle the jokes, they wanted to handle the lighting, they wanted to handle all the stunts and the CGI, and they just told her, no, you're not even going to work on that, don't worry about that. You just film this and give it to us, and we're going to do all this. We don't need your approval. You don't need to be watching what we're doing. You don't need to be and there was articles, a lot of them that came out about it, and I was like, it really shed some light on how they're running Marvel. So the difference is, why is anybody at Marvel, when they're getting fat checks, the fans are happy and the critics are happy, why are they going to go out their way when they know, well, I've got 10 more movies to star in at the time? Why are they going to come out and put the studio on blast when the directors, they're going to get another chance to direct another movie? The actors, they're guaranteed that they're going to come back and do 3, maybe 10 movies. They might have to say no because they don't want to do that many movies. You know,
It's
so
all
that
about
you got fans that are just in bliss, and critics, sucking up to them. Why are they going to come out and blow the whistle? Why would they? On the way that things are being ran there, And the thing is that I'm not a big fan of the MCU, specifically Marvel Comics, Marvel older animated and stuff like that. Big fan.
Yep.
Sony's version of Marvel stuff pre this year, fan of it. It's not the greatest I've ever seen, but I'm a fan of it.
Yep.
Venom, I like that. Tobey
And
Maguire's Spider-Man, I like that. Stuff like that. A couple other things, but I just feel like, to circle back to what we were talking about earlier, this movement, even though, yes, we are DC fans, this is like a message to everybody. Not just a message. This is trying to change the way that these things are done, because even the Marvel directors, if they're being treated like this or like that, that's not right. That shouldn't be happening. Okay?
yeah, it's
These
really
large
going back
studios are
to
doing too much, man. And you can only treat a person so poorly and disrespect a person's art so much.
yeah,
It
because
doesn't matter how much money it's making. You cannot treat these creatives like that, and a lot of the fans of the MCU, they don't see it like that. They don't care. They want to be, not all of them, like I said, but
and it really, like, to go off that, like, yeah, you're actually right, because going back to the Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness, the first
yeah,
director,
multiverse madness.
he
Yeah,
the first director, he said that he wanted it to go to the horror aspect. He basically,
I remember that. I
and he
remember.
even said in public, live on the camera, it's going to be the first rated R MCU movie. And Kevin Feige, like, Film Gob actually pointed this out in his, like, one of his little gifts, like, things where
When he said that, he looked over.
where he said that, and he zoomed in on Kevin Feige going to this woman saying, and he was like whispering something to her, and then he said, "No, you know what? It's going to be PG-13, and you're gonna like it." Like he, you want to, like, think about how embarrassing that is. Like, you're so hyped. Like, think about this: you're so hyped to make it the first rated R MCU movie, and then Kevin Feige, and then your boss comes in and says, live right next to you, live on TV, and says, "No, it's going to be it's going to be PG-13, and you're gonna like it." Like, think about how embarrassing that is.
See, and that is that's part of what I'm talking about. What we've been talking about. I don't give a damn how big of a director or how big your ego is because you think you're a badass, or how big of a corporate suit and tie asshole you are because you make billions a year. You cannot treat these people like this, bro. You can't.
Mhm.
And you can't lie to them and get them to sign contracts and get them on board and then completely find a way with loopholes and legalities and big, because you have buku bucks, to find a way to string them along, have them sign, then put them under an NDA and then say, guess what? Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. You're going to like that and you're going to shut the fuck up about it. And that's what I mean. That's the way that they're doing things in Hollywood right now. And it's not, and like I said, it's more so an issue on our side than it is on their side of things, on their side of the yard, so to speak. But this is an issue in general that needs awareness. And these people, they need to be put on blast. And that's why I love, not that I love, but I'm so happy that Ray Fisher has came forward and put Joss Whedon on blast for his behavior and his attitude towards and treatment of the cast and crew during filming and production of the reshoots of Justice League.
Yep.
And now more and more
and
people are coming forward
And apparently
Excuse me.
Joss Whedon has like this little thing. It's like a Q&A with him in general for Comic-Con at home. And that's going to be very interesting with Ray Fisher coming out and putting him on the spot.
Right. Yeah. And I'm just waiting to hear what else is going on. With what else happened. Wonder
Yeah,
Woman.
because we know
Gal
because
Gadot felt so uncomfortable shooting that scene where Barry Allen fell onto her chest fell face first onto Wonder Woman while she's unconscious. They had to have a stunt double film that scene.
Yep. And
So then, if you think about Ray Fisher's comments about him being gross and detest behavior or however he worded it, and then you think about that, you can connect the invisible dots.
Yep,
absolutely, yes.
And it's like, okay, there's more going on. I'm not going to jump the gun or insinuate anything because we don't know yet. But best believe it may take some time. A whole lot more stuff is going to come out about whatever's going on with that.
Yep, we even got some Buffy the Vampire Slayer cast coming out and saying, like, the one that caught my eye was this dude said that Joss Whedon basically threatened to kill him and Joss Whedon basically told him no one is going to hire you. So
again,
it's like with that, and
threatened their career.
Yeah, and then that kind of matches up with all the stuff that came out where, it was reported somewhere where Joss Whedon had told Gal Gadot that if he didn't do the scene, he was going to ruin her career, lock her away in her trailer, and and he'll take Wonder Woman away from Patty Jenkins and all this stuff. Yeah, so yeah, Joss has a reputation of being
an egomaniac,
an insane egomaniac on the set of a lot of the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
So.
And to further that a little bit, I remember reading and hear an article and hearing about basically there was a guy that was actually walked back a statement in Joss's defense once Ray came out with everything that he said, and he basically said that in the beginning that Joss was very humble, very down to earth person that would come to him about how to shoot scenes a certain way and how to spice them up. And he said, he went from being my humble friend to around the time of Avengers 1 filming, turning into an egomaniac, something statistical D-bag or something like that. And like, this is somebody that was like actually his friend.
Yeah.
Basically, fortune and fame and everything. He's one of them guys that it just, it blew him up. Now he's large and in charge. Like, no, I'm a badass. Everybody's gonna do what I say, or you're not gonna have a career no more. Like, basically, that goes hand in hand with all the comments that are being made. Even shows a time frame of when he started being a real a-hole. Where it started. Roughly.
Yep, and here's the thing, actually. Gal actually said in the press tour for Justice League in terms of the reshoots, like wasn't even there for the reshoots. Like, basically, what I don't know how exactly she explained it, but it was basically like this. The stunt double was a stand-in for the reshoots, and the gal basically was filming the lines face on FaceTime, and that's how they filmed the scenes. So
right.
So she wasn't even there for the reshoots.
Huh. And now all this makes sense. This is why you got Ben Affleck looking like he is just tapped out and don't want to be there during the scenes in Justice League. This is why you got a Henry Cavill that probably wasn't even just about the mustache shit. He probably flat out was like, you want to be an asshole? Cool. I got a mustache. Now I'm Superman. What's up? Here, work with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Josh's behavior did not help with the reshoots. That's why you've got cast members, you know, not looking like they're giving their full performance. You got people that with his star power making it to where he ain't shaving he's got a mustache and you know, and they got to CGI it away, and Ben's just looking like you know, like he don't even want to be there during his scenes, you know.
Yeah, because he's like gaining and losing pounds in between scenes, and
Right.
you could tell.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can
Yeah,
tell.
exactly.
There was some scenes where he looked bloated. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, particularly the scenes where he goes to recruit Aquaman. Notice
yeah,
how he looked bloated. Like if you to compare the scenes between, you know, the reshoots with the Snyder footage from the very, very first Comic-Con sneak preview. Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, big difference. And this is from a little bit ago, but Fatal J said, "Word on the street, Disney is making Deadpool PG-13." I think he's referring to Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Fatal J, they've already made Disney's already made Deadpool 2 a version that's PG-13.
Yeah, that was that Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah, which was just like, you could already see here's the big studio entity, corporate guys at the top. Here they come for the Deadpool series. Here they come. Now, fast forward now, we got the Deadpool creator.
He's bashing it. He's bashing Disney.
Coming right out saying they're not making a Deadpool. They're not going to make a Deadpool 3. They're trying to change it they're trying to do this and that. Ryan Reynolds ain't having it. You know, and there probably ain't going to be a Deadpool 3 type of stuff.
If there is, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up having to recast Deadpool to be able to do it in the Disney style, the way that Kevin Feige would like.
Yeah.
You know, because make no mistake, Kevin Feige has become somewhat of a tyrannical character himself with the way that he controls every curve, every corner of the MCU, and anybody that doesn't see that is just deluding themselves, because honestly, what they're doing to Deadpool is just wrong. Why acquire 20th Century Fox at all if you're just gonna shelve all their properties? That's the thing I don't understand.
It made no sense absolutely at all. I hope from the get-go.
Well, I'm starting to think maybe it was just so that they could get the X-Men.
Yeah, power.
Because they wanted they wanted X-Men. They wanted to be able to incorporate X-Men.
And if they wanted the X-Men, they could have justified it from. I think it's more than that. I think this has to do with the combined effort with Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, because really, I think Bob Iger wanted Fox as a whole, basically for his whole thing of controlling Hollywood phase, and then we go I think this. Kevin Feige wanted the X-Men solely as its own thing. Like, he didn't want Fox. I don't think Kevin Feige wanted Fox. I think he only wanted the Fantastic Four rights and the X-Men rights. I think that's it. But I think Bob Iger wanted Fox. So that's why I think it was that. I think that's why it happened, and why right now they're going with this whole Sony versus Disney thing.
Right. All I know is that whatever they're doing right now, it's not working moving forward. So I know that there is, and they're keeping it pretty good at keeping it all under wraps, because I know that there's got to be all kinds of power struggles right now within the MCU, within Marvel in general, within the entire company, like behind the scenes, because what's going to happen to all these properties that they've acquired and all these properties they already own moving forward with franchises that started off and they're just essentially getting the axe. And
Yeah.
they're not confident enough to reboot. And then they've got some people that are still out on contracts and they're not trying to make a decision about whether they want to make them another movie or not, like Deadpool. And, and you've got people like it's just a lot of shit going on behind the scenes for a long time. And none of it doesn't seem like Zod Ryder was saying, they've essentially blown their own wad and they don't know what to do moving forward. The only thing that I feel like they're confident in, which is a hit or miss, is Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, because really,
I feel like that is all they've got. That's all that they are working with right now. And other than that, they don't know what they're doing. They're
going to spring. Yeah, they're going to spring everything. They're going to spring everything from that film. Is what it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like.
Now, basically, it's all based off the success and reception of to the eventual when the movie's eventually released. That I think basically, like he was saying, Zod was saying that basically when that movie's released, they're basing everything they're going to do moving forward for the overall arcing plot. If they're going to do another Marvel 2.0 MCU 2.0 type deal, it's going to be based off Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness' success and whatever happened takes place in that movie and how they're going to incorporate it going forward. So, and that's still a big question mark because, that movie it's still got some time before it drops. And with the COVID going on and everything, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But if anything is going to be anything to watch out for, which I don't think there is anymore, it's going to be that movie. You watch and see that movie will be what they try to create their next franchise with.
I'm gonna go eat, guys. I'm starting to get hungry. So, yeah. See you guys soon. Peace.
All right, later.
All right,
later,
Jeffrey.
Later, man.
Thanks for joining. And Hector V says, dudes in ball caps.
Yeah, yeah.
Dudes in ball caps, man. And then let's see what this says. Jesse Allen, all three estimates on amount of minutes of Joker in Ayer cut. I'm kind of confused. What is he saying?
You mean how much time the Joker, how much screen time Joker in minutes will have in the Ayer cut? I would say, I don't know. I'd say he's sprinkled throughout the movie. I think it'd be a little bit difficult to come up with a with him by the minute. I think we're at a point where he's probably sprinkled throughout the entire film.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It'd be very difficult to put a number on that, and I really wouldn't feel comfortable doing so. But I don't even remember quite how many minutes he's in the theatrical cut. But
again, they tried to appease us with the extended cut where they put a few more scenes in here or there, but
like 2 scenes. One scene though was quite lengthy. They only replenished. What they did was they extended one scene during the electroshock therapy scene. They extended it slightly, just enough for a couple of couple more bars of dialogue, and that made things interesting, and then it ended the same way, and you're like, but then they replenished the motorcycle chase scene, which was quite interesting in the fact that interesting enough because you can see how they're supposed to flow without being rushed and how his method acting was supposed to come off playing that character. And with it rushed and compressed and cut down and colors changed and lines 80 yard over, destroyed it.
Right.
People thought like, oh, he's a bad actor. You know how many awards that Leto's won for acting?
Leto, this is the thing. Leto didn't become the Joker to have his performance butchered the way it was in Suicide Squad. We have not seen Leto's performance as far as I'm concerned, and that's why, the Ayer cut is so important, because that is going to be defining the DCEU version of the Joker. And I think once we actually get that, a lot of people's opinions on Jared Leto as the Joker are going to change.
And another thing is that and I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the current MCU.
Yeah, me either.
There's a movie here or there that maybe is a guilty pleasure, but
I will say this: I love the Daredevil TV show on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
but that's about as far as it goes for me.
Hey,
I have to be honest. I mean, that's.
And you know what? I actually enjoyed the Luke Cage too. And I know a lot of people didn't. I like the Daredevil and the Luke Cage. You know what I mean? Now they tried to do like a small team up version of the Avengers with
Oh yeah, the Defenders, and it failed miserably. So we won't even talk about that garbage. But again,
we're not going to talk about that.
To me, it's all about Daredevil.
Daredevil was good.
I could leave the rest.
Right, Daredevil was very good. I liked that, and like I said, me personally, I even liked the Luke Cage series. That was in the same universe as it on their little TV service, but it's just that I think about this, man. Do you think that any actor would sign a contract to be the Joker if their promise was that they were going to have 3-4 minutes of screen time and that it was going to be filmed and then changed and then filmed and then ADR'd over? Do you think anybody would have signed up for that?
Yeah, hunka, and the itch in his crotch. No, thank you. Look. Right. I feel like Leto was completely demoralized after that, and you could tell by his responses in interviews and the way he hated it, and no wonder he was bitter about Joaquin Phoenix Joker because Joaquin Phoenix got to do what Todd Phillips' vision was for that character,
and he got the method act too, like Jared Leto. Was kind of actor that Jared Leto is, and what he was promised he'd be able to do. Right. And he gets to watch another guy live out his dream and successfully, and get praised by critics, and make $1 billion. Man, that has got to be just gut wrenching.
I mean, and knowing the amount of work and character development that was put into David Ayer's iteration of the character, which is why this is why I have no interest in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I don't care what Mr. Marvel, James Gunn wants to do for DC, because we know it was just a cash grab based off of the old regime over at Warner Brothers coming in and saying, okay, James Gunn, you did Guardians of the Galaxy, now make Guardians of the Galaxy with Suicide Squad characters. Do what we were unable to do when we had the trailer company butcher David Ayer's movie. Exactly. So to me, I'm totally against that movie. I think that it's going to be horrible, stir-fried crap, and I'm really not in any way interested in supporting it. However, in the interest of supporting the multiverse and being loyal to parent company AT&T, I'm sure that I will end up seeing the film, but not because it's going to be my cup of tea, and not because I support, James Gunn. But I think it's going to be. I think it's just the idea that as fans we can support the multiverse. Going back to what we were talking about earlier about how there's going to be something for everybody. Like you and I, neither one of us were really all that crazy about Birds of Prey, but we still understood that, you support it because you support the DCEU and you want these creators to be able to put their vision out because they all have a right to that. And even James Gunn has a right to give us his vision for the Suicide Squad, whether we like him or we don't. But Jared Leto was a completely missed opportunity, and I'm just glad that there's a good chance that we're going to get to see it all.
And the thing, and another thing is too, man, it's just that for any character, for any person, any actor, right? The Joker, that's like being cast to play the devil.
Yeah.
You know what that does to an actor's psyche? That's why a lot of people stay away from them kind of roles, because look what happened to Heath Ledger. He almost had a psychotic break like a couple of times diving into the madness of the Joker.
Reportedly,
he gave us the best. Yep. and you know, so you got to think. Do you think that someone would take that kind of risk, do that, put themselves through that, and the promise was, we'll give you 2 minutes of screen time, we'll reshoot it again, ADR over it, and then we'll leave you in the trailer, but we're going to cut you out of the movie, and then we're not going to defend you when people talk shit about you, and that this is it. You'll never have another role as him. No, it was they promised him the world. He signed a contract off rip to play in more than just Suicide Squad. Okay. He had a contract, a multi-movie contract. Now, was it maybe just one additional movie? Maybe. But the point is, he had a contract, just like how Batman appeared in Suicide Squad, okay? No matter how brief it was in their cut-down version. He was supposed to appear in it, at the very least, cameo in the Batman movie, Ben Affleck's Batman movie, with, not Deadshot, Deathstroke. You know, he and there was plans for that character moving forward. You don't introduce a DCE version, DCEU Joker, and then have all this backstory to tell, and then don't incorporate it into a movie on purpose to not have that explained later on down the road.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And make no mistake, this was all mapped out by Zack Snyder and David Ayer from the get-go.
Yes.
So I mean, for me, it's all about the idea now that AT&T is righting the wrongs of WB's past. And we have, you know, we have every reason as fans to be rejoicing and to be excited about that.
Yes. Yes. And I agree too. And you know, it's just to me, that's why it's so important. And like me and Zod Ryder were talking about, you know, they're most likely it's already a sealed deal. That AT&T and HBO Max, they're already working on the Ayer cut. They were already planning on releasing it the day they announced Zack Snyder's Justice League for HBO Max. But just, you know, but me personally, I do think that to be the case too, because of articles and other things that have came out that have kind of flew over certain people's heads, as we were talking about earlier. But just in case though, because I really do love and support these characters, the DCEU in general, David and Zach's DCEU primarily, and everything that was done to Jared Leto's Joker, the injustice done to him, the injustice done to David Ayer. I'm going to be there tomorrow during this campaign, the best that I can. I'll be very busy working, so I don't know how much exactly I'll be able to participate. But tomorrow we're having a live Twitter event for the release the Ayer cut. And also when you're taking part in that tomorrow, for those of you that are going to join, for every post that you hashtag release the Ayer cut, the Ayer cut account is supposed to have more detailed instructions and context as towards exactly what we're going to be doing tomorrow. But I do know this much: for every thing that you post with the hashtag release the Ayer cut, just make sure that underneath that, it's somewhere in there that you tag at AT&T, tag at HBO Max, so that HBO Max and AT&T can see. If you don't do that, they're not going to be able to see your tweet. They're not going to be able to read it. They're not going to know that you're even tweeting it.
Right.
Okay. And we have a very large, you know, movement following, a lot of people that are interested. And according to the account, all the right eyes are going to be paying attention tomorrow. And I believe they even insinuated.
So it sounds like this is going to be the equivalent of the November 17th.
Yes.
You know, Justice League event that we did last year.
Viral tweet event type of deal.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I took from the post and the way that it was worded and everything that I've heard. Even getting done earlier watching Film Gob's video on it that he posted today. That was about 4 minutes long. He posted about 15 minutes before we started this live stream. Brand new. So anyway, but so from everything that I'm gathering from it, that is the case. So they said that everybody's eyes is going to be on it tomorrow. So this isn't something that is going to take years. This is right here, is right now. It'll be tomorrow. It'll be right then and there. Whatever you can do it then. If you can go crazy and you're not too busy, go crazy. We need to get their attention, their eyes and ears on it. And, only if you feel comfortable. I don't want you guys to have to feel, if you're not down with that, that's okay. To some of my followers and friends, I know some of you are like, I'm only here for Zach. I don't give a. I get it. I get it, and I'm not, that's totally fine. You don't have to, so don't take it as in I'm trying to make you do something you don't want to.
But what people have to remember, and one thing I'd like to amend with what you just said, is doing this is also by extension helping Zack Snyder, because you're extending the Snyderverse
universe
by allowing by doing what you can to promote the Ayer cut as well, because the Ayer cut leads into Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this is a wonderful thing, and it's all, again, part of that grand tapestry and that grand vision that Zack Snyder has for the DCEU as a whole. So that's why I say, as a card carrying member of hashtag Release the Snyder Cut, our work is not over. Our work is not done. We want to see it all. We want to see it all come to fruition. So that includes the Ayer cut. That includes Ben Affleck's Batman. We want to see everything. And in order to be able to do that and to accomplish that, we have to make sure that all the pieces get released. And so that includes Zack Snyder's Justice League, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, and beyond. So yes, this is a part of that. So just keep that in mind. I'm here for Zach too. That was my main reason for getting involved. I'm Zack Snyder through and through, but that's
me too.
Exactly what it is. You want that vision to continue, and you want to support that as much as you can. And if you're supporting David Ayer's Suicide Squad, you're supporting Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's as simple as that.
Thank you for them kind and wise words, Zod Rider. And down in the comment section, we have Geeks and Gamers Entertainment. Said, hey, Strong Arm Flix and Zod Rider, what's going on, my man?
Yes. Hey, what's going on, Max? Gotta love Max.
Yeah. And we have Zeverfet.
Absolutely. Hashtag 4nerds. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. 4nerds. 7:30 Thursday.
T-Flame is in an indoor tent.
Yes, absolutely.
Something like that, man. You guys like my little...
You're in the indoor tent, and I'm still on the couch. What can I say?
Hey, man, I'm just going to, pull up a, little jack-o'-lantern and, and just light a candle and kick back, roast me some marshmallows indoor. Got a stove over here. No. And let's see. Get ready for your guys' tweets tomorrow. All right. Yep. And Hector V.
What up, Hector?
What's up, Hector? He said, I hope Zach tweets it tomorrow. That will be grand.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach, if he did. I mean, I would honestly be a little surprised if Zach didn't say something in some regards to it tomorrow. I'd actually be a little bit surprised that he didn't say anything. I'm sure that he will. Primarily, I believe that David Ayer, wouldn't that be something if Jared Leto and David Ayer and maybe even Will Smith or somebody, who knows, just out of nowhere, just got on there. I'm telling you guys, they've got this organized, and if this is anything like the November 17th event, Twitter event, which I know that it is, like we were just talking about, there's going to be some good surprises tomorrow that you're not expecting. So I want everybody's going to be excited, man. And
the hype level is on fire right now, man. It's insane. We, as fans, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't, man. It really doesn't. That's why I'm very proud and just so proud to be a part of all this and even just on the sideline, just watching, and even just watching and just seeing, wow, and I'm just happy, for everybody, just so happy that we could be a part of this time in history, making history, and changing the way that things are done, And it's just like this, this stuff like this is happened similar to this before, but nothing quite like this has ever happened before. This is history in the making. This is a fan and fanboys' ultimate wet dream, and every single one of you guys deserve it. Okay, all of us do. And this is, and like you said, it doesn't get much better than this. And tomorrow, obviously, David might have some new images to drop, some more stills to drop on our heads. I'm sure he will. He may, who knows? But on that note, I'm going to end the live stream, and I will see you guys all tomorrow during this event. So you guys all check on it. Zod Writer, I believe you'll be there on and off periodically if you can.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be there as much as I can tomorrow.
Right.
I'll be tweeting while I'm working, and so it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I'll see you there.
Sounds good. And thank you for joining me, Azad Writer, and I hope to have you on here again, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And I'll have to get you on the Four Nerds at some point too, man, to join us for some fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, bro.
All right. Take it easy. And I'll see you guys all next time. And please subscribe to Strong Arm Flix. Peace.